recognize our speaker, the Honorable Alan Peter Cayetano.
The Honorable Speaker, Alan Cayetano, is hereby recognized.
Kung ano ang ating itatanim, yan din ang ating aanin. The book of Galatians tells us that a man reaps what he sows. If there is one thing that my father taught me, it's preparation. Whether it's homework, whether in sports na mag-practice, whether on Sundays na pipilitin niya kami na maggupit ng yung mga halaman na medyo umuusbong na, or to cut the grass, maglinis ng kotse. Sometimes we did not understand, but I learned later on it was all about preparation. Don't worry, my dear colleagues, I'm going to talk about the budget. I'm not going to ask for a vote on the speakership. So dun sa mga katunggali natin ngayon, sa nangyayari dito, you don't have to turn off your Zoom. You can listen because this concerns you also, because it concerns the national budget. If you look at the Bible, they describe John the Baptist as someone who prepared the way for the Messiah. Why would the Messiah, for us Christians, need someone to prepare the way? Because preparation is part of life. The apostles were with the Lord Jesus Christ for 3.5 years before they were told to go out in the world and preach the word. Minentor sila, prepare sila ng 3.5 years. So there is no doubt that preparation is very important. Mahalata niyong hindi ko pa nababasa. My family, my brother gave me this book, How to Make a Nation. Because favorite namin magazine ni Lani, naghihiraman lang kami dahil medyo mahal with my brother, yung Monocle. Binigay niya sa akin to. Bubuksan ko na sana, nagka-COVID. So ang problema, books like this that can prepare us and help us in our task of building our nation, it's not useless, but hindi siya akma eh. Because no one was prepared for the pandemic. Some people like Bill Gates warned us, but still hindi tayo nakapaghanda. No? Walang preparation. As you all know, I started out my career in politics in the Student Council of the University of the Philippines, and then right after, even when I was still in my 4th year of college, 4th or 5th year, I ran for councilor of the then municipality of Taguig. I was majority leader. I studied hard. I prepared. I was in law school, yet I would go to the sessions in the morning, attend classes in the afternoon, pupunta sa mga patay or sa mga birthdays sa gabi, and then to start studying until the wee hours of the morning. This prepared me. So when I became congressman in 1998, akala ko marami nang alam. But my favorite place was not in this podium or in that chair. It was in the lounge, listening to people like Miling Espinosa, Congressman Apostol, tatay ni J.J. Suarez, si Congressman Suarez, talking to people like Butch Aquino, no? Of course, Manny Villar, Joker Arroyo, no? Because it is through talking to them, their experience, their wisdom, na natututo ka, na prepare ako to become a better member of Congress. So, by the time I got to the Senate, I already have been Deputy Minority Leader and Senior Deputy Majority Leader sa House. So when I got to the Senate to become Senate Chair of the Blue Ribbon Committee and Senate Chair of the Education Committee, kahit papano I was prepared. When I was minority leader, it prepared me to become majority leader. And when the time came that the President said, I will support you, go for the Senate presidency, pero hindi ako makikialam sa botohan, I tried, but it wasn't for me. But the President told me, Alan, kahit naman maging Senate President ka, I want you to be my Secretary of Foreign Affairs after 1 year. So for 1 year, I traveled with him. And though I was a ranking member of the Senate, I did not sit in the places of honor in VIP sa harap. In the state dinners, nandun ako sa bandang likod. Doon po sa upuan, kaharap yung mga Prime Minister at Presidente, doon ako sa dulo or sa second chair. But it prepared me. So by the time that I became the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, I had the little confidence. Yes, I continued to pray. Sometimes butterflies sa akin tiyan. Yung hyperacidity sa atin. No? Pero this preparation, yung pagsama sa akin ng Pangulo, makita kung paano mag-usap ang mga diplomat, na yung note-taking, napaka-importante, na yung staff mo. Nakita mo po ang DFA pag pumunta dito, mali-maleta ang dala. Panay dokumento po yun. Yun ang style ng DFA. No? So it prepared me. That is why, when on September 29, the President asked Congressman Velasco, sabi niya, Lord, pumayag ka na, sa December na kayo magpalit kasi everyone in government agrees dapat tapusin muna yung budget. Sabi niya sa Pangulo, anong petsa? Sabi ko, Mr. President, kung walang COVID, nasubmit yung budget ng SONA, tinapos namin na buong August, may puweba kami kasi last year we finished it in 1 month. Nasa Senado na ng September, and sa October, ginagawa na namin yung BICAM. So by November, magpalitan na kami dahil pipirmahan mo na lang yon. Eh Mr. President, hindi po nangyari. Nasubmit ang budget late August. And even if the budget was submitted late August, some of the assumptions of the budget was pre-COVID. Hindi pa napapaloob dito. Look at the budget of the Department of Health. Kung kailan may pandemic at yung crisis is a crisis both of livelihood and health, or lives, mas mababa pa ang budget ng health. Hindi ba obvious sa atin lahat dito na dapat mas mataas ang budget ng health sa pandemya? Di ba? So, I proposed to the President, after asking Congressman Velasco twice, sabi ko, Mr. President, if Congressman Velasco will allow, ulitin ko sa kanya, I offered him to be the senior deputy speaker. I offered that to him para siya yung parang understudy. But I will treat him like an equal. So pagdating ng 1521, smooth na yung palitan. Sabi ko, wala nang palitan ng mga chairmanships except for one kasi ipinasok ko na lahat ng nirecommend niya. So ang sabi niya, hindi pwede, kailangan September 29 or October 14. Sabi ko, Lord, tatapatin kita. Di mo naman kasi alam yung budget kasi hindi ka naman pumapasok. So sabi niya, hindi Mr. President, sinabi niya sa labas, I will pass the budget kung ano nakalagay sa NEP. Eh mismo pong yung mga departamento na sa likod natin nagsasubmit ng errata Kasi nga hindi naman nila alam yung COVID. Ang Senate po hindi papayag na ipasa ang budget ng NEP. Kayo ba papasok? Papayag? Then he came up with a video na panay barkada daw ni Cayetano ang may budget. First of all, ang nag-submit ng budget, President's budget. So paano naman nangyari na barkada ni Cayetano ang nasa President's budget? So bakit iba ang sinasabi sa inyo ni Congressman Velasco at iba yung sinasabi niya kay Presidente? Number 2, just for the sake of baka naman na lusutan ako, baka naman may mga barkada akong magaling maglakad, pinatignan ko po yung top 10. 7 out of 10 ng top 10, kaibigan ko pero hindi ko barkada. Some you will not say I'm even close. Some you will say, definitely I'm not very close. The example I gave yesterday was Congressman Subiri, who's on the top 3 or top 5. I really like Congressman Subiri. To be honest, wag magagalit si Migs. I like him better than Migs. Because he is quieter, but he works hard. He goes to my office na may dating papel, ano tingin mo dito? He's always here. Kahit hindi niya committee, ina-attendan niya. So I think he deserves the budget. But I do not know why. Isa sa pinakamataas na budget, more than many of you here, si Congressman Lagman. Kayo naman po ang witness, di ba? Sa siyam na sinabi ni Congressman Lagman tungkol sa akin, 10 ay pagtuligsa sa akin. Di ba? And that's his call, di ba? I still consider him a friend. Manong ko pa rin siya. But he doesn't agree with me with the issues. So be it. I did not agree with him years ago. But hindi naman nagalaw yung budget niya. So I do not know where this insurgency about the budget is coming from. But I have to speak about it because ang ganda na ng reputation ng House. Naiintindihan na ng tao na ang budget, hindi po to a bunch of meaningless pesos and centavos, of commas and dots, and an endless stream of debit, credit, spreadsheet. Nor is it a campaign kitty. It is not something that the politicians can dip their hands in at gamitin ito kung saan nila gusto. The budget is the embodiment of hope dun sa walang trabaho. Nagkakaroon sila ng pag-asa through public spending, magkakatrabaho. Dun po sa may insurgency. At isang dahilan ay kahirapan, walang tubig, walang kuryente, walang kalye, walang negosyo. The budget is an embodiment of hope na pag nagka-development sa lugar namin, baka matigil ang away. We can have the same or different ideology, but stop the armed struggle. Dreams of people are here. How many of us, sino sa atin ang hindi nagdadasal araw-araw na matapos ang COVID? Sino sa inyo po ang hindi nangangarap pagkatapos panoorin kahapon po si Secretary Harry Roque na nasa Boracay? Sino sa atin ayaw pumunta doon? In my whole life po, 2 beses pa lang ako nakapunta. Kasal ng brother ko, kasal po ni Rolex Suplico. Yun pa lang po. Ako gustong-gusto kong bumalik. But it's just a dream with COVID. But we try to put in the budget the programs that will help us rise up. I dream one day na nasa top 3 tayo sa tourism. Pero paano mangyayari yon kung walang budget para sa tourism-related infrastructure? Kung hindi tayo number 1 bago sa COVID, kung sa Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam pumupunta, sa China, Japan pumupunta ang mga turista, what do we expect after COVID? Bigla na lang pupunta sa atin? No. There has to be programs in the budget. It has to be there. The 2021 national budget is our single most effective tool to ensure that our country will not suffer more than it has already because of this pandemic. Crafted properly, the 2021 budget provides us with the opportunity to reshape, to transform our destiny in line with the new realities facing our nation and the world. We can rebuild the industries that have been devastated by the pandemic and create new ones on the ashes of those that have already been erased. This budget is about preparation, but it's also about assumption. Kung ang assumption ng DepEd walang COVID, ang titignan po natin, magkano yung bagong classrooms at buildings na gagawin natin, magkanong ialat natin sa gaspe sa private school, at ilang teachers ang atin pong idadagdag. Magkano ang kanilang travel expenses? May COVID eh. So kung may COVID, hindi mo masyadong kailangan ng travel expense. May COVID, hindi naman po pwede sa classroom, lalo kung hindi pwedeng face-to-face. Ano po kailangan ng estudyante? Tablets, electronics. Buti ko ang tablet na kailangan nila ay paracetamol, mas mura yon. Pero hindi po ganong klaseng tablet ang kailangan nila. Laptops, computers, and different kind of electronic gadgets. And even if they have this, may internet ba? And even if they have internet and the gadgets, are their parents trained to homeschool them. That's why we need the modules. We are blessed in Taguig. Why? We have many, many international schools. So 4 of our international schools, together with our retired superintendents, inayos yung modules namin. We're blessed in Taguig because may pera ang local government. We hired 50 teachers who are ready in front of their computers. Pag tumawag ka sa hotline, page 8, model sa math, sa statistics, anong ibig sabihin nito? They will explain to the parent para maturuan yung bata. Wala po sa assumptions natin sa budget na to, na 400,000 teachers from private school ay nawalan ng trabaho. Paano po sila? Paano po sila? Tourism, nabanggit ko na. I can go on and on and on. Yung pong sa military, nakat yung budget nila. And siguro we can all agree naman that the military should sacrifice ng konti in their funding because of the pandemic. Pero we will also agree, hindi dapat matanggal yung funding for the 4 C-130Js that will help us transport people and goods in times of calamity. Nakita ko po presentation nila. God forbid that another Yolanda happens. But if another Yolanda happens and we have to send relief and medicine to 50,000 people, you will need 28 days with the present crop of the C-130s. 28 days. Anin ang damo kung patay na ang kabayo. But with the 4 new C-130s, kung mailalagay natin sa budget na to, within 1 day, they can deliver the 50,000 relief goods, medicine, personnel, etc. So marami pong kailangan baguhin sa budget po na ito. Kaya po, yung sinabi ko kay Congressman Velasco, pare, you need preparations. Do this with me. If, sabi niya, hindi, panay tao niya ganyan. Sabi ko, di, sumama ka na. Sinong tao mo, pumasok ka sa budget. Tignan mo isa-isa. Hindi, sisiraan mo lang ako hanggang December, uupakan ako ng mga tao mo. Sabi ko, di, ako na makikiusap sa kanila. Tsaka simple lang naman, upak sa'yo, tamad at absent. Di, wag kang tamarin at pumasok ka. Di ba? Insulto pa pag sinabing tamad ka, tapos araw-araw. Ako, pag nag-press con ako at sabihin kong tamad si Martin na Romualdez, isa sa pinakamasipag dito si Martin Romualdez, di ako mukhang tanga. Di ba? So, you know, I sincerely apologize to the President that he had to hear that. And just like Congressman Velasco, I'm sorry to our people that we have to do this at this time. Kung sumunod lang siya sa usapan na November ang palitan, kung marunong lang siya magbilang na hanggang October talaga po ako, di wala sanang problema. Di ba? Pero masyado ng atat na pumunta dito, wala naman may akalain ng COVID. But unlike Congressman Velasco, who I think his apology is hilaw and insincere. Why? Nagsorry ka banat ng banat araw-araw yung mga tao mo tungkol sa budget. Nang iintriga kayo tungkol sa budget, di ba? Sasabihin nyo, mas malaki budget pati yung city namin. The budget of our city in 2019 was not prepared by me. I was not even Secretary of Foreign Affairs during the election. I was a private citizen. The budget had a big, I think it was almost 8 billion for the road that was being made by San Miguel that will go over FTI Arca South na gusto nila ikabit sa C6. Ang problema, daan-daan ancestral house ang gigibain. That's why ni-realign yung 8 billion na palakihin na lang yung mga kalye because Taguig has become a central business district, and aside from the Philippine Stock Exchange and many headquarters being there, the Supreme Court and the Senate is moving to Taguig. The reality is po, si Arnie Teves who complained about the budget, mas mataas pa po ang budget niya kaso sa distrito ni Congresswoman Lani Cayetano, ang aking asawa. Bakit mas mataas yung sa akin? Yung Laguna Lake, napakamahal gumawa ng kalye dun Hindi naman petty projects yan no? So, there will be time for us to discuss all of this. But he cannot say, sorry, I don't want yun sa budget. Si Cayetano, hino-hostage ang budget. We'll have time to discuss all of that, no? But Action speaks louder than words. So let's prove it with actions this afternoon. To our people, while I am Speaker of the House, I promise you, every able-bodied congressman and woman who are with me now will work harder and will work smarter to give you a relevant, responsive budget you can be proud of. It won't be 4 books. Hindi po ito 4 na libro na hindi naman natin mabasa at hindi natin maramdaman ang gobyerno. Ang gusto ni Presidente Duterte, ramdam nyo ang gobyerno. Gutom ka, wala kang pagkain, hindi mo nararamdaman ang gobyerno. May sakit ka, walang gamot, hindi mo nararamdaman ang gobyerno. Nag-positive ka sa COVID, walang isolation center, hindi mo nararamdaman ang gobyerno. Wala kang trabaho, 6 na buwan na. Sabihin, eto 1 beses, tupad. Nararamdaman mo gobyerno? Kurot lang yun. Sec Bello wants to do more. But he cannot without this budget. And that's our task, and that's what we have today. And the second thing I promise our people, it will be transparent. I will find a way to present the budget to you na walang taguan. Nakakatawa naman itong mga kasama natin, pati si former Deputy Speaker Mikey Romero. Pasalamat ng pasalamat sa akin na sobra-sobra daw binigay ko sa party list. 2 Deputy Speaker lang hiningi sa akin, binigay ko 4. Sabi niya sa akin, bro, ilagay mo lang lahat sila, wag nang ako. Nung nalagay na silang lahat, bro, pagbigyan mo naman ako, para nandyan din ako. Pinakiusapan ko siya, bro, wag ka nang makialam sa speakership fight. Asikusuhin mo lang party list. Siya naman nagpilit pumunta sa Malacanang, kasama si Kong Velasco. Diba? Sabi ko, sige, budget na lang. O ano ba inaatupag nila? Sa grupo nila, banatan, maglabas ng false na claims. Don't get me wrong. If you didn't vote for me, you can keep your chairmanship. If iba politika natin, you're right, I'm left, I'm middle, you're socialist, I'm a Christian Democrat, whatever, I don't mind. We're against each other sa ibang issues, sa death penalty, in other controversial issues. Okay, you can keep your chairmanship. But don't keep your chairmanship, your membership sa rules and deputy speaker. Then instead na tumulong kayo sa budget, nagplaplano kayo how to take over at nang iintriga kayo, masasabotahe ang budget. That's precisely why the President said, pabayaan mo muna matapos ng December. And si Kong Velasco, in his own infinite wisdom, because I think his name is not just a name, I think for him it's a title. Hindi ka tunay na Lord, pangalan mo lang yon. Just because you wish it, it won't happen. So sabi niya, believe me, Mr. President, walang mangyayari, hindi magkakagulong budget. So sabi ko, pare, hindi ba panahon yun nung gumulo yung budget? Oh, di ba kakampi mo si Nograles, kalaban nyo si Andaya. Oh, di ba tapos kumampi ka kay President GMA. Kumampi naman si kay Alvarez. Oh, hindi ba nagkagulo budget? Oh, tingin mo ba unicameral tayo? Hindi ba bicameral? Oh, di ba as soon as the Senate sees na may away, pork nang nasa isip? O sa media, ganun din. It's sometimes unfair to us, but it's the reality. So in front of the President, I told him, Lord, please, tell me how in this world can you say na hindi magkakagulo ang budget kung magpapalitan? That's why the next day, when I came to the President, I did not come to the President to tell him, Mr. President, binoto ako ulit. I cannot tell you the whole conversation, but I can tell you this. I told him, Mr. President, para wala ng gulo, mag-take over na si Congressman Velasco. And I explained why. Sir President, naghirap ang mga congressman 2019. Kilala ko sino nagtrabaho. Tininabaho nila yung budget nila. Pag umupo yan, papalitan lang niya. More than kalahati ng budget, in FLR hinold eh. So yung prinamis din nila, kasi wala sila sa distrito nila, nandito sila. So umaasa sa distrito nila na may mga proyektong dadating, di ba? That's the reality. O Mr. President, ang dami nyo pang pinagawa sa amin. I won't go into the details. So Mr. President, bobolahin ko lang mga kasama ko. Kung ako gagawa ng first part ng budget, tapos pagdating ng BICAM, papalitan niya. Then I went to the national. Sabi ko, Mr. President, kausap ko DOH, eto kailangan nila. Kausap ko Air Force, eto kailangan nila. Kausap ko Army, eto kailangan nila. Kausap ko DOJ, eto ang kailangan nila. Sorry, Sexy Matu, hindi kita nakausap, but hindi kita nakausap, Sexy Matu, kung anong kailangan mo. But ikaw witness, last minute, last budget hearing, tinanong kita kung anong kailangan mo. Sabi niyo, gusto niyong tapusin yung titling. And ang katabi niya, si Yusek Mitch Kuna, nagkataon, birthday, last month. Tinanong ko, Mitch, isubmit niyo kung ano kailangan niyo sa budget, kahit hindi pa tayo nag-uusap. Why? The budget is not a perfect document. Diba? Hindi yan parang Bible na sa atin mga Kristiyano, konteksto, pinag-aawayan natin, pero we believe it's the Word of God. Ang budget po, inaamendahan yan. Yan ang katunayan. And kaya nga sabi ko kanina, kung meron pong mga libro na magsasabi sa atin how to run a nation, or gusto nyo baliktad, yung isa, yung Why Nations Fail, ibabasahin natin. It's irrelevant now because none of these books foresaw a pandemic. The Bible can only give us principles of how to go about doing all of this. To love our neighbor as we love ourselves. To dwell on the parable of the Good Samaritan. Hindi po ba? So let me assure you po, for as long as you can work with us on the budget, you can keep your post. But kung mamumuliti ka kayo, and gagamitin nyo yung posisyon nyo to destabilize the House, decency lang naman. Di ba? Konti namang paulit-ulit yung isa, palabra de honor. Panay palabra naman, wala namang honor. Di ba? Tapos pag ginamit mo yung palabra, yung word, I'm working quietly. Wala pong working quietly dito sa Kongreso. It's either you're working or you're not. Because work in Congress involves speaking. Sa committee, sa lounge, sa lobbying, dito, sa public hearings. There's no such thing. Sa distrito, you can work quietly. But even there, you have to give speeches, and even there, people have to know that you are working. So enough of all of this politics. People want results. So to my dear colleagues, the Senate traditionally says that they look at the forest. And traditionally, the House looks at the trees. There will be no forest if there are no trees. But yes, if you just simply look at a tree, you will not learn to care for the forest. So in the Bayanihan too, there was a bit of a scuffle na naayos naman natin. Kasi ang dating sa atin, parokyal yung gusto natin. So we had to explain to the Senate, wag naman tayo magturuan o magbintangan. Pareho tayong may advocacy, pareho tayong national interest. Ang kaibahan, ang inyong pananaw ay Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Ang pananaw sa House, kung sectoral ka or party list, yung party list na re-represent mo. Kung may distrito, yung distrito mo. So I don't speak much on agriculture. Bakit? Nasa highly urbanized city ako eh. Di ba? So if a senator is from a highly urbanized city, he or she should also defer to another senator who's from a highly rural and agricultural area. That's why pag usapin ng Mindanao at usapin ng peace, we defer to our members of Congress from Mindanao, especially for the Muslim and Christian Filipinos there. Kasi mas alam nila yun kaso sa atin eh. So, for our members of Congress, all your problems are important to me. Whether sabihin mo may 1,000 kang estudyante na hindi makapag-aral, o sabihin mo, Alan, si Jose o si Petra na walang tablet ay may problema, problema ko rin yun. That's why I came up with this. We will make a folder. Personal district report and personal sectoral report. District for the districts, sector for the sectors. This is your file. Pag pumunta ka sa doktor, sasabihin ng doktor kung ano weight mo nung araw, anong blood pressure mo, anong gamot, etc. So, kompleto. So, nandito po 2020, 2019. 2021. Gusto nyo dagdagan ng 2019, 2018, nasa sa inyo yun. We'll give one to your chief of staff, one to my office. We will fill in the blanks. We will work on your projects during the break to make sure that before we send it to the Senate, each and every district, mga kababayan na nanonood, lalo OFWs, hindi po congressman ang nililigawan natin dito. Ito pong mga papel na to, tunay na mga buhay. Bawat classroom, bawat teacher, bawat farm-to-market road na nandito, may taong makikinabang. Hindi to pork barrel. Ito po ay pangangailangan ng ating tao. No. Wala pong lump sum dito. We will specify this. And I will agree. I don't agree with many things, but on the agreement with Senator Lacson, dadaan to sa inyong district engineers, sa regional directors, sa directors ng ibang agency to make sure it's not pork barrel. But I will handle this with you individually. And we will have coordinators. We only have one bill. That is the GAB. Even though there are separate agencies, these are only part of one bill, and the fact remains that if there is one bill that have consistently caught the attention of members, it's the General Appropriations Bill. Starting at the Committee on Appropriation, where various concerns of members are addressed, and for the first time of history, through Facebook and the NGOs through Zoom, we're able to ask questions directly to the secretaries. I will give you that opportunity, but not in this setting by waiting. I have talked to the cabinet. All throughout the break, they will make themselves available to us in groups of 5 or 10 through Zoom or live so we can talk to them about the real problems of our districts. So wag po kayong mag-alala. May 1-2 punch po tayo. Etong papel na to, at yung pagkausap po sa kanila. I know many of you wants to ask questions here. But many of you feel you'll ask questions here and your constituents will say, buti congressman ko, congresswoman ko nakapagtanong, pero wala naman resulta. Subukan natin, technical working group style. Wala naman sa konstitusyon yung style eh. Nasa sa atin naman yun, nasa rules naman natin yun. Subukan natin. Dahil pandemic naman, maybe this time, instead of Congress versus the departments, it will be Congress with the departments in fighting poverty, corruption, and this pandemic. Many have already spoken. Sabi po ni Congressman Velasco, hostage ko daw yung budget. Kung hostage ko po yung budget, I will now move to defer the budget and to take it up in November. If hostage ko yung budget. But I will prove to Congressman Velasco and his cohorts today that I am not hostaging the budget. Applying Section 55 of our rules, I move to terminate the period of debate of House Bill number 7727, otherwise known as the GAB. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Second, Mr. Speaker, second.
I object, Mr.
Majority Leader.
I second, Mr. Speaker.
There's a motion to terminate the consideration of House Bill number 7727 and let us approve it on second reading. By terminating the period of interpellation and period of amendments of House Bill number 7727, we will now approve on second reading.
Sir Speaker,
House
before
Bill-
that, Sir
Yes.
Speaker, before that,
Yes,
to-
Mr. Speaker.
while we usually open the period of amendments after the period of debate, by entertaining committee and individual amendments, for this purpose, and for all members to be able to propose directly, I move that we create a small committee that we have done before, except before it was only individual amendments. This time I move that we have the Majority Leader, Martin Romualdez, Deputy Speaker, El Rey Villafuerte, Chairman of the Committee on Appropriations, Eric Yap, Vice Chairman, Jonathan C. Alvarado, Chairman of the Committee on Banks, Congressman Juni Cua, Deputy Speaker Henry Omominal, Chairman of the Committee on Ways and Means, Joey Salceda, Congresswoman Stella Kimbo for the minority and our expert on economics, Congressman Mike Defensor for the party list, Congressman Dalipe, again Vice Chairman of the Committee on Appropriation, Kong Ted Haresco, our new chairman of the Committee on Economic Affairs, Kong P.D. Berzaga, and the senior vice chairman, chairperson of the Committee on Appropriations, Congresswoman Eileen Ermita Buhayin, with full powers to entertain committee as well as individual amendments by the members to be submitted to the Committee on Appropriations on or before November 5, and consequently move to terminate the period of amendment. I will make it clear, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker. All members can continue talking to the secretaries, can use the committee. But until November 5, dun po isasubmit lahat po ng amendments. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The
Mr.
chair's
Speaker,
none. This
second,
full
Mr.
group
Speaker.
is now being composed, as being said by the Speaker, is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 7727.
Those who are in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those who are against, please say nay. Aye. The ayes have it. House Bill number 7727, the General Appropriation Bill on fiscal year 2021 is now approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, in accordance with our legislative calendar, I move that we suspend the session until November 16, 2020, Monday at 3 o'clock in
In
the afternoon.
accordance with our legislative calendar, session is suspended until November 16 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Take a picture.
Tatanggal to. Ha? Fix na to, no? Masyadong malapit pag nasa unahan ako. Yun, no? Boss. Yun lang. Yep. Jay.
Atras, atras.